Okay, so in this video, I'm gonna talk about why you're building your SaaS audience wrong and why this actually matters. And this is actually a very big problem with every SaaS founder because this is the first fundamental block of your content. And if your content doesn't talk to the right audience, if you're reaching out to the wrong people, to the wrong audience, the whole content won't matter and you won't get any results in the long run. So for context more, like so far in 2026, we generated 7.4 million views for our clients, generated in total 7.5k users across different SaaS platforms, booked 1.1k sales calls. And here's what actually separates the founders who win and the 4 mistakes that kept messing everyone else up. And to be honest, this happens pretty much with every SaaS founder on every sales call I am with. So please take a close look at this video because it will probably sound familiar to you. So let's start with this. So this is the audience myth that nobody talks about. Everyone says you should build an audience. And that's right, like in order to start generating attention, you have to build an audience first. You need to have content structured around an audience, right? Even your product, your app, your SaaS is already structured about an audience. But here's the thing, not every audience buys. So we have audience of viewers and audience of buyers. Audience of viewers can be 100k followers, but basically no buyers, like 0 buyers. And audience of buyers can be 1k followers, but you get the real revenue. And the difference between these two audiences here is basically out of these 100k followers, none of these people are interested. And even though if they're interested, they're not invested. And there is a difference between being interested and being invested. Because if you're invested, you're willing to buy this and you understand the outcome, you understand that this can change your life and you're willing to proceed. But if you're there just for the engagement, like this 100k followers right here, which has basically no buyers, then that's the audience of viewers, not buyers. So that's the whole difference here. And I get you, the views are there, but the people following you are not the ones who would actually buy from you. That's the whole problem here. So here's the first wrong move people do. They're optimizing for reach over recognition, over resonance. And that's the whole trap. Like you're trying to make stuff for everyone instead of the one buyer that actually matters. And I get you, the views feels good, but if the people watching would never buy, it's basically noise. And this is like a very big trap. Even I, as a content creator and as someone who is making content for other people, I used to fall into this trap because I used to think that views is the metric that actually matters. And if my content doesn't perform, if it doesn't get a lot of views, then it means it doesn't work. But I shortly realized that it doesn't really matter. Even from my own case, literally from my own content, I used to get a lot of outbound messages and a lot of people reaching out to me from my content. And in fact, like the video that got me a client only got 3k views. But one of my videos has around like 500,000 views and none of those viewers actually commented or were interested in about my services. So you get the point here? That video was shortly optimized for views, for attention and to attract a lot of new people, but none of that audience was actually a buyer, was not someone who was ready to buy and get to work with my services. So a real example here, a SaaS video got 80k views and 0 signups. And then we changed the angle, we went way more specific, and we got only 4k views, but 50 signups. And this was pretty much the whole point. So the thing is, your hook should filter people, not just attract them. And if it doesn't qualify the viewer, you're just broadcasting, you're just reaching out, you're scooping out for everyone else. Like you're so wide, you're so broad that you're reaching out for everyone instead of the right audience. So that's the first wrong move you can do. You optimize for reach over resonance. Then we have the second wrong move, which is posting product stuff instead of problem stuff. So here's the thing. Nobody follows you because they're dying to hear about a product they don't really care about. That stuff is for people who already warm. Like most of your audience is not there. So if you're posting product stuff instead of problem stuff, that's like the second biggest wrong mistake you can do. And this is the reason behind it. So number one, what you're posting. You're just posting future dumps, things inside your apps, product updates, stuff for people who already said yes. Number two, what you should post instead of this number one thing. 3 pain points for your ICP they feel every day so the right people see themselves. It's very important that you speak the language your ICP talks because only then they can resonate with you resonate with them, and you're building that connection with them where you can actually sell things to them. Number 3, the ratio. 80% problem content, 20% product content. Pretty much maybe even a 90-10 if you're early, but that's the ratio you want to focus on. Because if you're talking about your product too much and not about the problems and the outcomes, you're shifting the whole posting to the product stuff instead of the problem stuff. So case in point, like for Flume, for Fitical and American, the best stuff usually isn't look at my product, it's the journey, the pain, the weird lesson, and the stuff that actually happened. And that's what actually builds the whole content system. We're not focusing on stuffs from the product, we are focusing on the problem. So overall, if we can summarize this whole thing, is the way you structure and the way you message things in your content. Like, if you're an early SaaS founder, people are usually buying you before they trust the logo. And faceless content can work only if you have a huge budget and you're just blasting ads. But if you're small, if you're just in the early phase, it usually just feels cold. And I get you, it's easier to hide behind the brand, but that's also why nobody remembers it. And the real fix for this would be to get in front of the camera. Like, pretty much every stock founder-led content does this. It does not need to look perfect, it just needs to feel real. And here's the thing, people trust a real person way faster than a logo. That mattered a lot, like cases with our clients like American, Flume and Fitical too. Like face, voice and actual opinions. I hope that makes sense. So think about it, like people don't connect with the brand, people don't connect with faceless content, they connect with people. They want to be sold from people, from outcome, instead of just a random brand. Then the fourth wrong move is building and posting content without a funnel behind it. So here's the thing, a view with no call to action is basically a dead end. Someone was interested and then we gave them nowhere to go. So yeah, you probably lost the buyer right there. But the whole funnel looks like this. They look at your content, but there is no call to action. You are just losing the buyer and they're just curious, but they're not committed. And the real example here is Vincent sent 600 demos and still got curious, not committed. Why is that? Because no nurture between the view and the ask, if that makes any sense. Like, they were interested, but not to the point where they were ready to commit. They were not invested. And the fix for this would be to every video to put a clear next step, a clear call to action. This can be a comment trigger, a resource, a booking page, one action every time. Now let's talk about the shift, the build for the buyer, not the viewer. So pretty much all four mistakes come from the same thing, building for people watching and not for the people who are there to buy. So yeah, stop asking what gets views, but start asking what gets the right people to actually do something. And if you're able to stop the scroll, qualify the right people, include the right call to action, this is actually much easier to do than what you think. So the way we do this is with specific hooks. We filter the wrong people out fast. Just think about it. If you're talking about something in your video, and if you mention a specific group of people, instantly you're just dropping the target, you're just focusing a specific group, which means you're not broad focusing on everyone, but just one group of people. Then the second thing, problem first content. So you should lead with the pain, then the product, then the features of the product. But first you want to mention their pain, because you want them to resonate with you, you want them to realize the pain they're in right now. Number 3, show your face, not faceless content. So people buy from a human, not from a random page, not from a faceless content, not from a brand. And the fourth thing, real next steps, a call to action. So every single post needs a real call to action and only one call to action. So this can be either to comment a word, to like your post, to follow your page, but you have to be very specific with this one and you want to pick only one. There is a psychology behind this, but people would much rather do one thing instead of multiple things on your post. And if you're asking for just one thing, they pretty much do the thing you asked for instead of doing everything at once. Basically, numbers don't lie, and here's the results we delivered so far. 7.4 million total views across every SaaS client, 7.5k users added, 1.1k in sales calls booked, and 250k revenue generated for our clients so far in 2026 for these 5 months. And the thing is, none of these clients actually went viral. We just built the right audience, the right system, and they just executed. So American went from 2 to 25 clients, 40k per month, Flume went from 500 users to 4.4k users and 50k per month, and Fitical, a fresh new app, went from 0 to 200 users and 6k per month in revenue. Now let's go over the objections, because I'm pretty sure there are a lot of objections right here. So first, objections, but I want a big audience for credibility, but I do understand you, I know where you're coming from and I get you, but credibility pretty much comes from results. Like our client American had only 2 clients, which turned into 25 clients. Flume went from 500 to 4.4k users, and that's the stuff people actually care about, not the views, the metric, or any credibility you want to focus on in your content. But my niche is too small. Honestly, small niches with high intent buyers are usually easier to win. For example, Fitical, like the app I just mentioned about, they were freshly launched, they were starting at 0, and they were like very tiny at the start and still got to 200 users and 6K per month. So small can be an advantage, not a problem. But this sounds slow, and yeah, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, content is slow and it does take a few months to work. It usually takes around 2 to 3 months to start to work and to compound. But that's the thing, like American, Flume, and Fitical all took the time before the numbers moved. Then it compounds and it gets obvious. Like for most people, they just quit too early in the game and they're missing out the whole game. So if any of these objections came into your mind, I hope I solved them for you. And from here you have 3 options. Option number 1, you watch this, you nod along and kept doing the same stuff. I get you, it's frustrating, it's like adding more things into your plate and you're just observing and you're thinking about content. That's an option as well. Option 2, you take the framework and actually use it. You fix the hook, you go harder on problem content, you get a camera, you build a funnel. Pretty much you gave it like 6 to 9 months and do the reps, maybe even like less because 6 to 9 months is a very long period of time. Option 3, if you are a SaaS founder who is making around 2K to 50K in revenue every single month, you should comment or DM me the word buyer on my Instagram, and we will send you the exact details on how we can structure the buyer first content system and how we can help you to make content, with your only commitment being to spend 1 hour per week just to record the content, and everything else will be handled by us. So that's pretty much it around this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.